What is up, everybody? Welcome to another Starfinder Wednesday. As always, I'm your old buddy Dan. It's 4 p.m. Pacific. It's Wednesday. We're talking Starfinder. We do this every week, so come back and join us. If you're watching this on YouTube, hit the subscribe, hit the bell. It's gonna be good for you. You're gonna love it. If not, and you want to be a part of the Q&A that happens afterwards, join us on Twitch. We're here every week, and we're doing a lot of other stuff this week. I'll get into that at the end. The commercial that you saw at the beginning, that was by our old pal Troy. He put that together, and coincidentally, that's the AP that we're going to be talking about today. So I hope that you're sitting down. I hope you're ready for a good show. Have a beverage, have some popcorn or something like that, because today we are talking to Ron Lundeen. He wrote the very first Starfinder adventure path, or not the first installment in Against the Aeon Throne, called
The Reach of Empire.
The Reach of Empire. Yeah, so good. What we want to do today, though, because we could talk a lot about this is what's in the book. We have to worry about spoilers, which that gets old after a while. We decided is like, what can we talk about? Because I want to kind of give people an idea of this Azlanti Star Empire. Ron had the great idea to come up like, let's talk about their ships, which I think you can tell a lot about an institution, a secret society, or whatever, by looking at their spaceships and all of that sort of thing. So that's where we're going to start. And then after that, we're going to do some Q&A with all of you happy people in the chat. So thank you for joining us. First off, Ron, this is your first time on the show, but not your first time on our stream.
Correct. It's my first time on the fabled Starfinder Wednesdays. I did get a chance to play a playtest game with Jason Bulma was running. That was a ton of fun, and I'll be back for more of that.
That was the first time. That was the first time that I had to put together the whole live play, and it wasn't good. People, thank you for hanging with us on this. It's gotten better. It's gotten so much better, but yeah, it was really rough. Some of the sound and stuff, but the game was so fun. It was so fun to watch. I like watching Jason run games. I think it's a lot of fun, and I like watching people enjoy playing in a game. You know, it's like Amanda's the same way. Like Logan, all of those people that are running games right now, sometimes it's just infectious when you watch them have a good time, and you can kind of see how it's easy to play a game and have a good time with certain GMs. You know, so yeah, I think that first off, we're here to talk about ships of the Azlanti Star Empire, which seem to be, because it's called Against the Aeon Throne. And pretty much if you watch the commercial at the beginning, the Azlanti Star Empire favors pretty heavily in that trailer.
Absolutely.
That Troy put together. So first off, what do you want to tell us about the Azlanti Star Empire, the ASC?
All right. They are one of the things they're classically some of the big bads in the Starfinder universe. That's great. It pulls from a lot of the lore from Pathfinder, but takes it forward into the future, where you've got a whole organization, military-minded organization of human supremacists, and specifically Aslanti human supremacists, who think that not anybody else in the universe is worth much of anything other than to serve them. That sets them up as kind of classic bad guys. That's great.
Yeah,
it's great. And the way that they've interacted with the people of the Pact Worlds is primarily through military engagements with their starships. So starships are how people know them and what it is they do. So without venturing initially too deep into sort of the spoiler territory, you can put this from the perspective of, if I'm in the Pact Worlds and I'm encountering ships of the Azlanti Star Empire, what can I expect?
Okay.
Death, primarily. That's what you can expect.
And let's just put that on Front Street. We're not even going to hide that. That lead is not going to get buried.
Right.
Death might be imminent.
Yeah, they're well known for overwhelming force, having superior technology. They incorporate magic a lot in their technology, which not a lot of the ships of the Pact Worlds do. They've got a sleek design, but there are a couple of commonalities that maybe people who've survived attacks from the Azlanti Star Empire can say. Frankly, there's the same sort of commonalities that any of the players who go through the Reach of Empire are going to be able to say. The ships of the Azlanti Star Empire, they use a lot of drones. Small, unmanned, very fast drones and what they use.
To keep themselves separated and safe.
Exactly. Well, some of their bigger ships even will launch out fleets of drones in order to attack.
Okay.
the ships themselves often destruct when it looks like they're going to lose a battle, so you can't recover any of their superior technology.
Okay, I think they call that scuttling. Is that
what's that?
Is that what's called scuttling? Like they
do.
scuttle
They do.
their ships.
And if I can delve into the rules for an aside right quick.
Delve away.
The interesting piece about that we've had to do is the ability to self-destruct your ship costs build points. Okay. So if you want to have the Aslanti ships being super powerful, they've got to spend some of their points in being able to blow up. Well, then they're just not as powerful. What do we deal with that?
Yeah.
And so the designers came up with a great solution, a brand new type of system that they have. That's not self-destruct. Okay. It's auto-destruct. The crew has no say in this. It's when the ship gets too damaged, it's going to blow up regardless.
Yeah,
and everybody on their ship knows that's what's going to happen.
It's like a certain amount of checklist things that have to happen first.
That's right. That's right.
Oh, I like that. Okay. Yeah.
But it's intentional to keep the good technology of the Azlanti Star Empire out of the hands of people that they feel like don't deserve it.
Okay.
They've got a lot of other things like that, biometric locks and things on their ships that keep other people from using them. And they have got some frankly very unusual types of weapons. They've got guns that you use mysticism rather than gunnery to shoot. Radiant weapons that can overwhelm the senses, magically overwhelm the senses of people that they shoot at. It's a lot of problem going up against the ships.
Okay.
But they've got within the Star Empire, they've got primarily primarily 3 different manufacturers of ships that the Pact Worlds have seen. The most impressive of these are the Sovereign class of ships that work. This is specifically the Aeon Throne's government-sanctioned military ships.
Okay.
They're the biggest.
Yeah.
They're the toughest. Show you some of these. The Sovereign's got
I've got lots of
we got
photos
tons of art on this, which is awesome.
I think that out of all the shows that we've done, this one probably has the most art. And that's saying something because Rob's show last week of Absalom Station had a lot of art.
Ton of Absalom art.
Yeah, exactly. But this one's got a lot of good stuff, so I'm kind of excited about this. So where do we want to start on this visual journey?
Let's see the throne. You want to see? We've got of the Aeon.
We're just jumping right into the Aeon throne. This is what everyone's going against.
That's right.
That's
right. That's right. This is actually, I think, it's on the bridge of a ship. I'll talk a little more about this, but the Imperial fleet military bases, military factories create the Sovereign ships, and they go up in size. The Harrier is one of these.
Let's get that one up. There you go. The Harrier.
A little bit smaller. This is a sort of a 2 cockpit thing. It's a little bit like a like an early 1900s kind of dogfighter where you've got the 2 pilots that are in there. Okay. They're physically separated from each other.
Yeah. Okay. So and I was just thinking about this as I was looking at that. I wish there was something for scale. I wish I put something in there, like
to be able to see which ones are which size.
Stayed in, so you can kind of get a comparison of sizes and everything. But yeah, I kind of didn't do that. I should have. But so as we're going through, let just try to give an idea of how many people would be on that ship or something.
Or how bigger and
essentially, can you make up for my bad planning?
All right, let's go from the Harrier. We'll go up a size to the Monitor.
The Monitor is up a size, okay.
Which is a slightly bigger crew. One of the patrol ships they have.
Okay, and so just really quick, so the Harrier is kind of like an intercept, like it's like a police cruiser, like it's going to go out and try to catch things.
That's exactly right.
Right. And then the Monitor is just going to kind of scout around and be like a
peacekeeping force, peace.
Well, hang on a second. Wait. What kind of force is it?
Peacekeeping force.
I missed the quotation fingers, so that's important. So okay, so the Monitor.
That's the Monitor.
That's there just to kind of keep patrolling around and just kind of making sure that things are good. And how many people roughly can get on a Monitor?
I can tell you not just roughly. I can tell you precisely, as can anyone that picks up the the reach of Empire. The Monitor, 6.
Oh, 6 people. 6 people. Okay, so not. Yeah, I got you now. So that makes sense. So when you think of that ship and think 6 people are sitting on it, that makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
Okay.
And then the Sovereign Sumpter.
The Sovereign Sumter.
It's about 18 people on the Sumter.
Okay.
It's a much bigger ship that's primarily a troop transport. That's 18 people is the crew, in addition to all the other troops that they're able to carry on that.
Right.
Troops and material.
Okay, so this is to bring like a group of peacekeepers, quotation figures again,
Exactly.
to maybe a skirmish that's happening somewhere, and it's like, oh, we're going to send out the Sumter and load that up with folks so that they have so we can make sure everything's okay.
Yep. Okay. From their perspective.
From their perspective, it's very important.
There is a substantially bigger ship I'll get to in just a second.
Okay.
Different story. But I would want to say those. So Sovereign is the imperial military factory of the ships.
Okay.
And then there are a couple of.
So all of these ships that we just saw, the green tinted ships, are made by Sovereign.
Made for Sovereign, which is by the Aeon Throne itself, the Imperial Fleet sort of military.
Okay, gotcha.
But there are a couple of private industries that contract out to the military government.
Okay.
These are
your Halliburtons.
Yeah, they are.
You know.
One of these is Clockworks.
Clockworks. Okay.
One of the things that's neat about Clockworks is primarily known for drones and then survey ships or patrol ships.
Okay.
People who played the Dead Sun's adventure path managed to encounter a single Azlanti Star Empire ship in the middle of that without too much spoilers. It is a Clockworks ship. Those are the kind they're going to be farther from the Empire.
Okay. Do I have that one in here?
You have the Nexus. The Clockworks Nexus is one of the ones that you've got here.
Look at that. That looks surprisingly like the other ones that we just saw.
Well, it's all under a military contract. So, that one's actually this one's actually pretty big. You had they've got Clockworks drones. You got a drone in there that's going to be one of the small ones. The Nexus is pretty good size. It's got a complement of more than 100 people.
Oh wow!
But this is actually going to be for a
long range.
Yeah, and it's long range, and it's going to carry an awful lot of drones. So you got a military contractor who's got a lot of drones they've sold to the Imperial fleet. They want to get the drones into position. They load them all up into here. And,
so that's drone transport. Its big thing. Okay, and then the drones would be that thing.
Yep.
Yeah, there it is.
Like the little drones they've got.
So the big one, which one was it called?
That is the Nexus.
The Nexus. So that one flies out, gets to where it's going to go, and then all of these little fellas, these little drones come flying out of it to start spotting everything.
Yep.
Right? All right.
And if you're
I'm trying to wrap my head around the whole thing as we're going along.
Yeah, if you're deep into the design rules for the starships, you'll be thinking, they must have hangar bays that carry these. I say, well, they actually have more specific drone bays that can cram many more of them in there in order to spit out plenty of drones when they get where they're going.
So you get drones on top of drones on top of drones in a transport of drones.
The classic science fiction scenes, right, of your heroes flying a spaceship and there's just tons of little things coming right by them. That's what the Clockworks Nexus can do.
I like this
to
idea.
you or for you, I guess.
Right. Okay, yeah, I like that. That's cool. Okay. What is next on
the third one? The third one is Vanguard. Vanguard has the Void Sweeper. It's one of the.
I do have the Void Sweeper. So so Vanguard is the other.
It's a third. It's an independent contractor.
Okay, so it's a company.
Yes, it's a company. Unlike it's actually a subsidiary of another big company that has a lot of military contracts. Mm-hmm. But Vanguard is. Whereas Clockworks is the drones and exploration and things like that. Vanguard tends to be. They tend to be a little more dealing with transports, but also like luxury and opulence. A lot of people who have a lot of nobles or other counts or sardats, I guess they're called, and other members of the aristocracy in the Azlanti Star Empire. What personal ships? And a personal, if they've got a very high-end personal ship, it's probably made by Vanguard. That's
I see. So they're like the luxury class.
They are. And you'll see that when you look at some of the pictures. They just, they look, they're a little more colorful, a little bit nicer. You got the Void Sweeper, the Sanctum is one of these.
Boom. Now see how many people can fit in the Sanctum? That looks like that's a cockpit, I assume, at the top.
At least
rich folks, yeah. So Tyler, you're right. These are for rich people, right now.
That's actually about 10 people, but these things can be super customized.
Oh,
and so
okay.
let's say that you happen to be an Azlanti noble, and of course you're a technomancer, right? You're a master of
Why
magic.
wouldn't you be? Yeah.
Well, you've got this thing armed with guns that you use your mysticism to shoot with, so that you're able to use your knowledge of magic in order to shoot the enemy.
Yeah.
You may have these things may be equipped with a number of like fancy guest quarters, which instead of being individual fancy guest quarters, they all put together into one big suite that's their personal suite, which I imagine has like, big jetted tubs the size of a entire suite in some other smaller ship. They're
maybe a chafing dish or two, a nice buffet.
Exactly. As they're
an omelet bar.
careering through space.
Yeah, why not? I mean, so it's actually a little bit, that's actually a little bit, which one was that? That was the
that's the Sanctum.
So that's actually a little bit bigger than I thought. But so these are like yachts, essentially. Like these are rich people.
Yeah, that's a good.
They have a yacht.
Well armed, well armored yachts.
I mean, if you're gonna have a yacht, you might as well arm it well.
That's
true.
And like all, I will say, like all Aslanti ships, a well armored yacht that rather than let its technology get into the hands of lesser people, will automatically explode if damaged too much. So,
yeah, why not? Why not?
You might as well make sure your nobles are incentivized to win the battles they get in, I guess.
It's the idea of like, if I can't have it,
and nobody gets it. Nobody gets it.
Now nobody has a yacht. I hope you're happy.
Exactly.
I like
this is why we can't have nice things in space. That's,
exactly.
I think what you're thinking when you're talking about sort of a smaller one is the Comet. The Comet is a four-person sort of luxury. It's a fancy blue one, I think. Yeah.
Oh, that is pretty fancy.
So,
is that all connected? Like, can you walk around inside there, or is it you have a seat and you sit down?
Yep. It's got. It's usually got guest quarters. It's one of the ships that may have actually an escape pod on it. I mean, perhaps don't let the Aeon Throne know, the Imperial Fleet know. It's been customized with an escape pod. But
so I take it. So escape pods are bad. Because
you don't want to have these. You take your superior technology, including what you know and what you wear, into the hands of people who, frankly, don't deserve it. If you're the Aeon Throne,
Tyler says, "Escape, coward." Well, I mean, let's be clear here. We are talking about like the Cadillac SUV of cars.
Exactly. Of spaceships.
These usually aren't your down and dirty party, like PC fighting types that have these things, I would imagine.
Right.
But yeah, I think you're right.
But the thing that's delightful is you can have the PCs go up against these sorts of things, these sorts of ships. One of them shows up. One of the ones that Vanguard made shows up in actually the next issue of the Aeon Throne Adventure Path.
Oh yeah, which you have right over here.
Which I have right here. It is the Vanguard Parapet.
All right,
I think you've got the Bastion is actually one of the ones on the inside cover here.
Do I have that?
You got. I think you might call it Bastion.
I called it something different. I think
something other than that's the Parapet.
That one, yeah, that's really cool. I like that one a lot. That one looks really fun.
This one's got up to 20 people on it. It's a basically
it's like Firefly. It reminds me of like Firefly class, like from the show Firefly.
Yeah, exactly.
About that size. There's rooms and all that kind of stuff.
I mentioned that Vanguard does transports as well as luxury ships, and the Parapet that you see there is more of a prisoner transport.
Okay.
Why you would need a prisoner transport in an adventure called Escape from the Prison Moon? Who knows? Anyway,
I'm going to think on it. I'll get back to you.
But anyway, that's one of the things I want to show off now. We talked about the sovereign ships. Some of their very biggest one, the very biggest ship of the Azlanti Empire that has been seen as the Vindicator.
Okay.
And the quick story on this is that the Vesk actually. When they were out exploring, they got to a far distant planet that they started to colonize. And the colonists there saw a couple of Azlanti ships. They said, but then they wouldn't talk to them. They fled immediately, and the Vesk are like, I wonder what that was all about. The Vesk came back, or the Azlanti came back in with a sovereign Vindicator, Tier 18 colossal gunship.
Okay.
And absolutely subjugated the entire system. The people that are still there are slaves. The Vesk know not to mess with the Azlanti Star Empire precisely because of this the Najin Korozias encounter, as it's called.
That's the Vindicator.
That's the Vindicator.
The big fella. That's like a battleship.
It is. That is massive. This thing has got. The complement of in addition to soldiers, right? Of this sort of thing will carry plenty.
Which they have their own crew, like their own
absolutely. It's 260 people
Wow.
just to run the ship. So this is a little more like like an Enterprise or something like that, where you've got a huge group of people,
lots of guns,
very militarily trained, and this is what they're going to use to take over.
And that is made to basically, we're coming in and you're going to know we're here.
Exactly. We're taking over the system and you're not taking it back. That's the
kind of like what you said at the beginning. When you see one of these, you can expect death.
That's right.
And
that's right.
That seems to be very true.
That's right.
So all of these things kind of lead into the idea that the Azlanti Star Empire are heavily military, very organized, very well funded. They play a part in this whole thing.
Absolutely.
We know that they are connected, and we can't get into it now, but they are connected to the Aeon Throne, and all of that sort of thing. So I've read through part of the book. I stopped reading because I wanted to play, and I'm like, I'm gonna stop reading. But I gotta say, you did a great job. Like this really kicks off the entire AP really well. I've not started read it anymore for that reason, just in case. I would love that. I think that would be great. So, what did we not get to that we need to get to?
I think we've got a lot of good one point that I do want to make that's actually interesting. Within the game of Starfinder, Absalom Station, as Rob might have mentioned last week, is sort of the center of the universe.
Right.
In that no matter how far away you get, you can come into the vast, out into space. You can travel for a month. You can get back to Absalom Station in just a couple of days, no matter how far you get,
right?
Because it holds a special place in sort of the universe and the drift for that.
Right.
How would the Azlanti Star Empire handle that kind of thing? Don't they need their own nexus, their own headquarters? Yeah. And in fact, they do. They've got a kind of Aeon Stone that if their navigators have it, they can get back to New Thespera, the home of the Azlanti Star Empire, in just a couple days, no matter how far away they get. So they've got their own way to sort of pull themselves back to reinforce, if they need to, the home world, or they've got their own, as is probably appropriate from everything we've said about them, they've got their own sense that they're the center of the universe.
Yeah, I don't like these guys. So. There's something about them. I don't trust the cut of their jib. That's just me. But yeah, that is very interesting. That is really interesting. And on that note, I think that we might have run through the show.
We had a lot to say. We had a lot of ships to show off.
There was a lot of stuff there. For those of you on Twitch, we're going to be doing some Q&A. We'll go through the photos again so you can take a look at them and all that sort of thing. But in the meantime, for everybody else, thank you so much for joining us. I hope that you had a good time. I hope you learned a lot about the upcoming Against the Aeon Throne AP. The first one is called The Reach of Empire. We're talking to Ron Lundeen. He was the author of that first one. We had lots of photos. We had lots of fun. Please, if you saw this on YouTube, feel free to subscribe and hit the bell notification button so you can know when all of these videos go up. But in the meantime, for Ron Lundeen, for Paizo, and for me, your old pal Dan, thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you again next week. See ya!